What if your next vacation could help the planet instead of harming it? Imagine your travels leaving a positive mark not just on your memory, but on the world around you.
That's a powerful thought, Emily, and it's exactly what we're going to explore today. Welcome back to the English Podcast for Listening and Speaking, the place where your English improves while you explore fascinating real-world topics.
Today, we're diving deep into a subject that's more important than ever: sustainable and ethical tourism. We'll be talking about how we can all travel in a way that's better for the environment, supports local communities, and makes us more conscious travelers.
It's about making responsible choices, and along the way, you'll learn a ton of useful English vocabulary and expressions related to travel, the environment, and making a positive impact. We'll give you practical examples, scenarios, and even some grammar tips.
And hey, if you find this episode helpful, don't forget to like, share, and comment. It really helps YouTube recommend our podcast so more people can improve their English while learning about important topics like this.
Plus, stick around because later in the episode, we've got a really special, inspiring moment that we think you'll want to share with everyone you know. It's going to be a good one. So, Emily, we've talked about what we're covering, but let's get right into the core. What exactly do we mean by sustainable and ethical tourism? They sound similar but have important distinctions.
Great question, Brian. Let's start with sustainable. Sustainable tourism means traveling in a way that doesn't harm the environment or local communities and can continue long-term. So, sustainable tourism means meeting current needs without compromising future generations. It's about balance.
Right? And then, ethical. Ethical tourism often focuses on moral aspects. It's about doing what's right, ensuring local people benefit fairly, respecting their culture, and treating animals well. So, ethical tourism means acting morally and fairly. They really go hand in hand.
Absolutely. When you combine them, you define a responsible traveler. This is someone who makes conscious choices to minimize negative impact and maximize positive contributions. They think before they act.
The impact of tourism is its effect. This can be positive, like bringing money to local communities, or negative, like increasing pollution. A responsible traveler aims for positive impact.
To reduce negative impact, be ECOFRIENDLY. This means not harmful to the environment. An ECOFRIENDLY hotel might use solar power. Many travelers are choosing these options more and more. It's a great trend. Notice our choosing for the trend.
Exactly. These choices often support conservation, which means protecting animals, plants, and natural resources. If a tourist stays on marked paths, they are contributing to conservation. This helps preserve nature.
Yes, and it also shows respect. In sustainable tourism, respect means showing consideration for local cultures, traditions, and the environment. It's about acting like a good guest.
And all of this links to awareness. Awareness means understanding a situation. A conscious traveler has high awareness of their surroundings, culture, and environmental implications. They don't travel blindly.
This brings us to another key term, carbon footprint. What exactly is that, Brian?
Your carbon footprint is the total greenhouse gases produced by your activities, like flying. A conscious traveler is often trying to reduce their carbon footprint by choosing greener transport.
Perfect. Now, let's illustrate these with a mini scenario. Imagine two very different tourists.
I'm ready.
First, tourist A. They fly to a beautiful island, stay at a huge resort, use lots of single-use plastic, and leave the AC on high. They walk off paths in parks, disturbing nature, and only eat at international chains. They see tourism purely for their enjoyment.
Tourist A is having a negative impact. Their actions are not eco-friendly, increasing their carbon footprint. Walking off paths lacks respect for the environment and harms conservation. They are not being responsible or ethical, lacking awareness. Their approach is not sustainable.
Now, tourist B. They travel to the same island but choose a small, locally owned, eco-friendly guest house. They use a reusable water bottle and public transport to reduce their carbon footprint. They stay on marked trails, support local restaurants and artisans, and learn local phrases, showing respect for the culture.
What a positive contrast. Tourist B is being a truly conscious traveler. Their choices are reducing waste and their carbon footprint, demonstrating they are eco-friendly. By supporting locals and respecting culture, they are making ethical choices. Their awareness and commitment to conservation mean their travel is contributing to sustainable tourism. They are having a positive impact.
See how choices make a difference? Tourist A is causing harm, while tourist B is actively helping.
Exactly. Remember, sustainable tourism means traveling responsibly. That's a definition. But more travelers are choosing eco-friendly hotels. That's a trend, an ongoing action.
Precisely. Understanding these words and how to use them is the first step to becoming a truly responsible and sustainable traveler. It's about building knowledge and applying it.
And as you travel, you are constantly making choices, and each choice is having an effect. Being a conscious traveler means you are actively thinking about those effects.
It's an exciting challenge. In our next section, we'll dive deeper into how we can actively support local communities, which is another crucial part of being an ethical and responsible tourist.
Sounds like a plan. So, our listeners now understand the what. Next, we'll cover the how.
Brian, in our last section, we talked about being a conscious traveler and having a positive impact. One of the most direct ways we can do that is by actively supporting local communities. It's not just about not harming, it's about helping.
Exactly, Emily. When you travel, your money can go to big international companies, or it can go directly into the pockets of the people who live in the place you're visiting. That's where the power of supporting local businesses comes in.
So, what do we mean by a local business?
A local business is owned and operated by people from that specific area, not a large chain from another country. Think of a family-run restaurant, a small guest house, or a shop selling handmade crafts. When you buy from them, your money often stays within the community.
And how does that help the community?
Well, a community is a group of people living in the same place. When a local business earns money, they often spend it on other local services or hire local people. This creates jobs and strengthens the local economy. It helps the whole community thrive.
So, by choosing a small local cafe over a big international coffee chain, I'm directly supporting that community?
Precisely. You are providing direct financial support. It's a simple action, but it has a ripple effect. You should always try to find and support these businesses. It's one of the most powerful things you can do as a traveler.
I love discovering unique local products, especially things made by artisans.
Ah, artisans. That's a fantastic word to know for ethical tourism. An artisan is a skilled craftsperson who makes things by hand. They create unique, high-quality items using traditional methods. Think of a local potter, a weaver, or a jewelry maker.
So their products are truly handmade?
Yes, absolutely. Handmade means it's created using hands and simple tools, not machines in a factory. Items are often one of a kind. When you buy a handmade item from an artisan, you're not just getting a souvenir, you're getting a piece of their culture and skill. You should consider buying from artisans whenever possible.
And often, these items might be fair trade, right?
That's an excellent point, Emily. Fair trade is a system that ensures producers in developing countries get a fair price for their goods. It also often means good working conditions and environmental protection. For example, if you see coffee or chocolate labeled fair trade, it means the farmers received a fair price. You must look for fair trade certifications if you want to be sure you are buying ethically.
So buying a handmade basket from a local artisan at a fair trade market means my money is directly supporting them and their community in a very ethical way. That's a great feeling.
It is. And it also leads to more authentic experiences. When you engage with local businesses, you get a real sense of the place, its people, and its culture.
What does authentic mean in this context?
Authentic means real, genuine, and not a copy. An authentic experience means experiencing the true local life, not just the tourist version. Eating at a local restaurant where locals eat, rather than a chain, is an authentic experience. You should try to seek out these authentic experiences.
This really connects to tradition and culture. When you buy handmade goods or eat local food, you're experiencing their tradition and culture.
Precisely. Tradition refers to customs or beliefs that have been passed down through generations, and culture is the shared beliefs, values, and practices of a particular group of people. When you support local artisans or participate in a local festival, you are directly engaging with and helping preserve their tradition and culture. You must always show respect for these aspects.
Yes, respect is key here too, just like we discussed earlier. It's about appreciating their way of life, even if it's different from your own. You should learn a few basic phrases in the local language if you can. It really shows respect.
Absolutely. Now let's bring this to life with a mini scenario, Emily. Imagine we're planning a trip to a beautiful city. We're getting hungry.
Oh, I'm always hungry. So what's the plan, Brian? Are we going to eat?
We have two options for dinner. Option A. There's a well-known international fast food chain, familiar, easy, maybe a little cheaper. Option B. Just around the corner, there's a small restaurant with a handwritten menu full of locals serving traditional dishes. What should we do?
Option A sounds easy, but if we want to be responsible travelers, we should definitely choose option B.
Why should we choose option B?
Because it's a local business. By eating there, our money directly supports the family that owns it and the local farmers who provide their ingredients. We can also experience the authentic culture and tradition of the city through its food. It's a much more meaningful meal.
Excellent point. We must also consider the quality. Often, local businesses like that small restaurant will offer more authentic flavors and fresh ingredients, unlike a chain.
Right. Plus, we might even meet some locals or learn about their traditions directly. If we went to the international chain, our experience would be the same as in any other city in the world. We wouldn't get that unique local flavor.
So, we should make a conscious choice to seek out these places. What about shopping? We need some souvenirs.
Okay, option A. A big souvenir shop near the main tourist attraction, selling mass-produced items, probably imported. Option B. A small market a few blocks away where local artisans are selling handmade crafts.
Again, a clear choice for the conscious traveler. We must go to the market.
Why must we?
Because those are local artisans selling handmade goods. Our purchase directly supports their craft, their livelihood, and their community. Plus, the items are more likely to be authentic and have a story behind them. We should also ask if they use fair trade practices for any raw materials they might source.
Absolutely. Buying a handmade piece of pottery from the actual potter rather than a generic keychain means so much more. It shows respect for their skill and their culture. We should always remember that every purchase is a vote for the kind of tourism we want to encourage.
You put that perfectly, Emily. So, to recap the grammar for our listeners, when we give advice or suggest actions, we use modal verbs like, should, and must.
You should choose local restaurants means it's a good idea. You must respect traditions implies it's very important, almost obligatory.
And you can support local artists means it's possible and a good option.
Understanding how to use these verbs helps you not just talk about ethical travel, but also give advice to others, or even to yourself, on how to be a more responsible traveler.
So next time you travel, ask yourself, am I supporting a local business? Am I buying something handmade from an artisan? Is this experience truly authentic? Am I showing respect for the tradition and culture of the community?
These questions help guide your choices and ensure your travels have a positive impact. It's about making every dollar you spend a vote for good.
Exactly. And it makes your trip so much richer. You connect with the place on a deeper level. In our next section, we're going to look at another crucial aspect, reducing our environmental footprint. How can our daily travel habits contribute positively to the planet?
Oh, this is such an important topic, Brian. It's about being kind to the planet, not just to the people. When we talk about reducing environmental impact, what exactly do we mean?
Good question, Emily. Reducing environmental impact means minimizing the negative effects our actions have on the natural world. Every trip, every activity leaves a mark. Our goal as responsible travelers is to make that mark as light as possible. It's about protecting the places we visit for future generations.
So it's about making choices that don't harm the air, water, or land, like using less and being mindful of what we throw away.
Precisely. One of the biggest and most immediate ways to reduce impact is to reduce waste. This means creating less trash. Think about how much garbage one person can produce in a day, especially when traveling with convenience foods and disposable items.
I get it. So if I buy fewer plastic bottles, I will reduce waste.
Exactly. That's a perfect example of the first conditional, which we'll focus on in this section. If you take a specific action, a certain result will happen. If you carry a reusable water bottle, you will significantly reduce plastic waste. It's a direct consequence.
And what about recycling? That's part of waste reduction too, isn't it?
Absolutely. Recycling means taking used materials and processing them so they can be used again. Many hotels and public spaces now have separate bins for different materials. If you separate your plastics and papers, you will help the local recycling efforts. It prevents more trash from going into landfills.
So if I finish my soda can, I will find a recycling bin instead of just throwing it in the regular trash. Got it.
Perfect example. Now, beyond waste, we also think about energy and resources. That brings us to terms like renewable and green energy.
What do those mean? Are they related?
Yes, they are very related. Renewable describes a natural resource that can replenish itself over time, meaning it won't run out. Think of sunlight or wind. Green energy is energy produced from these renewable sources, like solar panels or wind turbines, because they don't produce harmful pollution.
So, if a hotel uses solar panels, it will be powered by green energy?
That's right. And if a country invests in wind farms, it will generate more renewable energy. This reduces our reliance on fossil fuels, which cause pollution.
Ah, pollution. That's a word we hear often. What exactly is pollution?
Pollution refers to harmful substances introduced into the environment, damaging air, water, or land. Car exhaust, plastic waste in the ocean, or industrial chemicals are all forms of pollution. If we don't control pollution, it will harm ecosystems and human health.
And how does that relate to being plastic-free?
Being plastic-free means avoiding or eliminating plastic, especially single-use plastics like straws, bags, or disposable coffee cups. These items are a major source of pollution, particularly in our oceans. If you choose plastic-free products, you will prevent a lot of waste.
So if I bring my own shopping bag, I will be plastic-free for that purchase. That's easy.
Exactly. And it ties into the idea of reusable items. A reusable item is something designed to be used many times instead of being thrown away after one use. Your water bottle is reusable, your shopping bag is reusable, and even a travel coffee cup can be reusable.
So if I pack a reusable coffee cup, I will avoid disposable cups at cafes. That makes a lot of sense.
It does. And all these small actions contribute to conservation.
What is conservation?
Conservation is the protection of animals, plants, and natural resources. It's about preserving biodiversity and natural habitats. For example, staying on marked trails in a national park helps with conservation. If we practice conservation, we will protect natural beauty for future generations.
So it's not just about what we don't do, but also what we actively do to protect. Like volunteering for a beach cleanup could be an act of conservation.
Absolutely. If you participate in a cleanup, you will directly contribute to conservation. Now let's think about a practical scenario. Emily, I have a challenge for you.
Oh, I love a challenge. What is it, Brian?
You're going on a weekend trip. Your challenge is to pack for this trip without using any single-use plastics. Everything you bring must be reusable or plastic-free.
That sounds tough, but I'm ready. Okay, let's see. First, my water bottle. If I bring my reusable water bottle, I won't need to buy plastic bottles. That's a big one.
Good start. What about toiletries, shampoo, soap, toothpaste?
For shampoo and soap, I will use solid bars instead of liquid in plastic bottles. And for toothpaste, I can get toothpaste tablets or a bamboo toothbrush. If I choose solid toiletries, I will be completely plastic-free in my wash bag. This is fun.
Very good. What about snacks or food on the go?
Right. This is where it often gets tricky. Instead of buying packaged snacks, I will bring a reusable container with nuts or fruit from home. And if I want coffee, I will bring my reusable coffee cup and ask the barista to fill that. If I plan my snacks, I will avoid plastic wrappers.
Excellent. What about shopping? Maybe you want to buy a souvenir or some groceries.
Easy. I will always carry a reusable shopping bag. If I have my own bag, I won't need a plastic bag from the store. And I'll try to choose items that aren't overly packaged.
You're doing great. What about when you're out and about and need a drink but don't have your water bottle handy?
This is where it's important to research beforehand. I will look for cafes or restaurants that offer filtered water refills. Or if I buy a drink, I will choose one in a glass bottle or can that I can recycle rather than plastic. I'll avoid straws completely. If I avoid straws, I will reduce plastic waste immediately.
That's a comprehensive plan, Emily. You've really thought about how to be plastic-free and reduce waste. All these small decisions, like bringing reusable items, really add up.
It really shows that if we are mindful, we will make a big difference. It's about a change in mindset, isn't it? Not just about grand gestures, but everyday choices.
Absolutely. Every choice you make as a traveler impacts the environment. Remember the first conditional. If you change your habits, you will contribute to conservation. If you support eco-friendly businesses, you will encourage green energy and reduce pollution.
So, to summarize for our listeners, the first conditional helps us describe the direct results of our actions.
Right? If you pack smart, you will reduce waste. If you choose reusable items, you will avoid plastic pollution. If you support businesses using renewable energy, you will help the planet. It's a powerful way to think about cause and effect in environmental responsibility.
It makes it clear that our actions have consequences, both good and bad, and focusing on the good ones by using words like reduce waste, recycle, renewable, plastic-free, reusable, and thinking about conservation and preventing pollution through choices in transportation and choosing an eco-lodge, for example, helps us be better travelers.
Exactly. We covered transportation and eco-lodges briefly, but these are huge areas where we can make a difference. These choices affect our carbon footprint significantly. In our next section, we'll dive deeper into choosing eco-friendly transportation and accommodation options to further minimize that footprint. Welcome back, everyone. In our last segment, we talked a lot about reducing our environmental impact, especially by tackling waste and using reusable items. Now let's expand on that and focus on two other big areas where our travel choices really matter: transportation and accommodation.
Yes, because how we get to a place and where we stay can have a huge effect on our carbon footprint, right? That's the total amount of greenhouse gases released by our actions.
Exactly, Emily. And that's where choosing eco-friendly transportation and sustainable accommodation comes in. Our grammar focus for this section will be on using comparative and superlative forms to compare different options. We'll look at how one choice is greener or more efficient than another.
Fantastic! So let's start with getting around. What are some of the most eco-friendly ways to travel?
Well, the absolute best options for short distances are walking tours and bike sharing.
I love walking tours. You see so much more, and it's great exercise. And bike sharing is so convenient in many cities now. You just pick up a bike, ride it, and drop it off somewhere else.
Right. Walking is definitely the most eco-friendly way to explore a city, as it produces zero emissions. And bike sharing is often cheaper and more environmentally friendly than taking a taxi. You're also getting a direct experience of the place.
So walking is greener than driving, and bike sharing is more sustainable than using a private car. I see how the comparative forms work here.
Perfect. For longer distances, especially within a city or between nearby towns, public transport is almost always the better choice.
You mean things like buses, trains, trams, and subways?
Precisely. Public transport is generally more energy efficient per person than driving your own car because it moves many people at once. For example, a train journey is often more eco-friendly than flying for medium distances.
I agree. When I was in London, taking the underground was so much faster and more efficient than trying to drive through traffic. And I felt good knowing I was helping the environment. So public transport is usually the most environmentally responsible choice for city travel.
That's a great use of the superlative there, Emily. And speaking of multiple people, another option for reducing your individual impact is carpool or carpooling.
What's carpooling? Is it like sharing a ride?
Yes, exactly. Carpooling means sharing a car journey with others, typically to reduce the number of cars on the road. Carpooling is more efficient than driving alone because it spreads the carbon footprint among multiple passengers. It's also often cheaper than driving by yourself.
So if a group of friends is going to the same concert, carpooling is the smartest and most eco-friendly way to get there. It saves money and reduces emissions.
Absolutely. Now let's move on to accommodation. When we talk about eco-hotel or sustainable stay, what are we looking for?
I imagine it means a hotel that tries to minimize its environmental impact, right? Like they save water or use solar power?
You're spot on. An eco-hotel or a sustainable stay refers to accommodation that implements environmentally friendly practices. This can include things like using green energy, conserving water, managing waste effectively, and supporting local communities. An eco-hotel is much better for the environment than a standard hotel that doesn't focus on sustainability.
So an eco-hotel often has a smaller footprint than a traditional hotel. And how can we tell if a hotel is truly an eco-hotel?
That's a key question, and that's where certification comes in.
What is certification?
Certification refers to an official process that confirms a hotel or business meets certain environmental or social standards. There are many different certifications in the tourism industry, like Green Globe or EarthCheck. A hotel with an eco-certification is generally more reliable in its green practices than one without. It means they've been independently checked.
So, choosing a certified eco-hotel is the safest way to ensure your stay is truly sustainable. That makes sense. It's like a stamp of approval.
Precisely. And often, these hotels also focus on being energy efficient.
What does energy efficient mean in this context?
Energy efficient means using less energy to provide the same level of comfort or service. For a hotel, this could involve LED lighting, smart thermostats, or good insulation to reduce the need for heating and cooling. An energy-efficient hotel has lower utility bills and a smaller carbon footprint than an older, less efficient building.
So, an energy-efficient room is more comfortable and better for the planet. I get it. It means they're smart about how they use power.
Exactly. And all of these choices, whether it's transportation or accommodation, directly affect our footprint. We briefly mentioned carbon footprint earlier, but simply footprint in this context often refers to our overall environmental impact.
So, the goal is to have a small footprint, right? Like a light touch on the planet.
Yes, that's the idea. The smaller your footprint, the less damage you cause to the environment. For example, taking public transport has a much smaller footprint than driving alone.
Okay, Brian, I think I've got these terms down. public transport, bike sharing, walking tour, carpool, eco-hotel, sustainable stay, certification, footprint, and energy efficient, and using comparative and superlative forms to compare them.
Excellent. Now let's put it all together with a mini scenario. Emily, imagine you and I are planning two different trips to the same destination. You're planning a traditional, less eco-conscious trip, and I'm planning an eco-conscious one. We'll compare our choices and highlight the language.
Ooh, a travel planning showdown. I'm ready. Where are we going?
Let's say we're both flying from New York to Miami for a short vacation. Emily, how are you getting there?
Well, I'm probably just going to fly because it's the fastest way to get there. And when I arrive, I'll take a taxi from the airport directly to my big resort hotel. It's convenient.
Okay, so your focus is on speed and convenience. For my eco-conscious trip, I've decided to take the train. Taking the train is slower than flying, but it's much more energy efficient and has a significantly smaller carbon footprint. And from the Miami station, I'll use public transport, perhaps a bus or a metro, to get to my hotel. Using public transport is slower than a taxi, but much cheaper and more environmentally friendly.
Okay, I see your point. My flight and taxi might be the quickest options, but your train and public transport are definitely the greenest ways to travel.
Exactly. Now, what about your accommodation, Emily? Where are you staying?
I'm staying at a big, well-known hotel chain right on the beach. It has a huge swimming pool and lots of amenities. It's probably the most luxurious hotel I could find.
And I, on the other hand, researched and found a charming eco-hotel a few blocks from the beach. It boasts a Green Globe certification, uses solar panels for green energy, and has a rainwater harvesting system. This eco-hotel is much more sustainable than your big chain resort. And it might even offer a more unique experience.
So, your sustainable stay probably has a much smaller footprint than my resort. My hotel likely uses a lot of energy for air conditioning and lighting, and probably has a lot of waste. It's probably not very energy efficient compared to yours.
That's a good observation. My eco-hotel also encourages guests to reuse towels and provides plastic-free toiletries. They even have a bike-sharing program for guests to explore the city.
Wow, so you're really committing to the sustainable stay. For sightseeing, I'd probably just grab a rideshare service.
And I would opt for walking tours to explore the local neighborhoods, or use their bike-sharing service to get around. Walking is definitely the most immersive and zero-emission way to see a new place. Bike sharing is also a much healthier and more eco-friendly option than using a car.
So, my trip is probably the fastest and most convenient, but your trip is certainly the most eco-friendly and responsible. I can see how every choice, from the biggest like choosing a train over a plane to the smaller ones like picking an eco-hotel or taking a walking tour, adds up.
Precisely. And this is where the comparative and superlative forms become so useful for English learners. We can say, a train is more sustainable than a plane, or walking is the most eco-friendly way to travel locally. These structures help us express the differences and highlight the better, or greener, choice.
I get it. So for our listeners, when you are comparing different travel options, think about which one is more or less, something, or the most, or the least. Like, this eco-hotel is more energy efficient than that one, or taking public transport is the most economical choice for city travel.
Excellent summary, Emily. These comparisons help us make informed decisions and explain why we're making them. Remember to look for certification when choosing an eco-hotel to ensure a truly sustainable stay, and always consider public transport, walking tours, and bike sharing for getting around to minimize your footprint.
It really empowers us to make better decisions. We've talked about what sustainable tourism is, supporting local communities, reducing environmental impact, and now choosing eco-friendly transportation and accommodation. It feels like we're building a complete picture.
We are. And all these choices ultimately contribute to a bigger impact, not just on the planet, but also on us as travelers. In our next section, we're going to have a special moment, something truly memorable that we hope you'll want to share with everyone you know. Stay tuned.
You know, Brian, after discussing all these amazing ways to travel more responsibly and sustainably, it makes me think deeper than just the practical steps. It really shifts my perspective on what travel means.
I agree. It's not just about changing our habits. It's about changing our mindset, isn't it?
Exactly. It makes me realize that tourism doesn't just change places, it changes people. And that leads to a really important question. The question is, will it make us better?
Wow, Emily. That's incredibly powerful. That's such a profound thought. And it really encapsulates what we've been talking about. Let's break down some of the English in that statement for our listeners because it's full of meaning.
Please do.
You said tourism doesn't just change places. Here, change places means that our visits, our actions, and our money have an impact on the destinations themselves. It can be positive, like supporting local businesses, or negative, like creating pollution. So tourism transforms the physical environment and the social fabric of a location.
Right. It's about the tangible and intangible effects we have on the destination.
And then you said, it changes people. This refers to us, the travelers. When we travel, we learn new things, we see different cultures, we face challenges, and we grow. It's about personal transformation, about expanding our horizons and understanding of the world. It's about how travel reshapes our perspectives and values.
It's true. Every trip I take, I come back a slightly different person, with new ideas and new appreciation for things.
And finally, the question is, will it make us better? This is the really thought-provoking part. Will it make us better? Asks if these changes, both in the places we visit and within ourselves, lead to positive growth. Are we becoming more aware, more compassionate, more responsible global citizens? It challenges us to reflect on the purpose and outcome of our travel. Are we contributing to something good, or are we just consuming?
That's the core of it, isn't it? Are we just passing through, or are we leaving a positive mark? Are we growing in a way that benefits the world, not just ourselves? It's not just about having a nice vacation, but about the bigger impact.
Absolutely. This idea of becoming better through travel connects directly to sustainable and ethical tourism. When we choose to travel responsibly, we actively work towards being better travelers, which in turn helps places become better and helps us become better individuals. It's a cycle of positive change.
So, for all our listeners out there, we hope this moment resonates with you as much as it does with us. It's a powerful reminder that our choices as travelers matter immensely.
We truly believe this is a message worth spreading. If this thought, tourism doesn't just change places, it changes people. The question is, will it make us better? Spoke to you, we encourage you to share this specific clip.
Yes, share it with your friends, your family, anyone who loves to travel or is thinking about their next adventure. Let's get this conversation going. You can easily share this part of the episode directly from wherever you're listening.
It's a fantastic conversation starter, and it will help more people think about how they can make their travel more meaningful and impactful. Share it, discuss it, and let's inspire more conscious travelers around the world. That was a truly powerful segment, Emily. I really hope our listeners felt that connection and are inspired to share it.
Me too, Brian. It's so important. And now, as we wrap up this incredible journey into sustainable and ethical tourism, let's take a moment to look back at some of the key English vocabulary we've learned today. We covered so many useful terms.
Absolutely. This episode has been packed with terms that can help you talk about responsible travel with confidence. Let's recap some of the most important ones. We started by defining what it means to be a sustainable and ethical traveler. Remember, sustainable means practices that can continue without depleting resources, and ethical means doing what's morally right.
Yes, and we also talked about being eco-friendly, which means not harming the environment, and understanding your impact when you travel, like how much your trip affects a place.
Exactly. We learned about your carbon footprint, which is the amount of carbon dioxide released into the atmosphere because of your activities, and how to become a more conscious traveler, someone who thinks carefully about their choices.
And it's not just about the environment, is it? We focused on supporting local businesses and artisans, understanding the concept of fair trade, and contributing positively to the community you visit. Remember, fair trade means ensuring producers are paid fairly.
Precisely. Then we moved on to practical ways to reduce your environmental impact. We discussed how to reduce waste, aiming for a plastic-free trip, and choosing reusable items instead of single-use ones. This is all part of conservation, which is about protecting nature and the environment.
Oh, and I loved our challenge about packing without single-use plastics. We also explored different types of transportation and accommodation, like taking public transport instead of flying, or staying at an eco-hotel that is designed to minimize its environmental footprint.
That's right. So you now have a fantastic vocabulary toolkit to discuss sustainable travel. From sustainable to eco-hotel. These words are your passport to speaking about responsible tourism in English.
Now, we want to hear from you. After listening to all our tips and discussions today, what's one sustainable travel choice you will make on your next trip?
Maybe you'll decide to bring a reusable water bottle, or perhaps you'll commit to supporting more local businesses in your destination. We'd love to read your comments and see how you plan to be a more conscious traveler.
So please share your thoughts in the comments section wherever you're listening. Your ideas can inspire other learners too.
And as we always say, if you found this episode helpful, full of great vocabulary, or if that memorable moment resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and comment. It truly helps YouTube and other platforms recommend our podcast so more people can discover it and improve their English.
Your support means the world to us and allows us to keep bringing you engaging topics like this. We love seeing our community grow and thrive.
So as we sign off for today, remember this. Travel is about discovery, not just discovering new places, but also discovering new ways to be a better global citizen.
And now, thanks to this episode, you have the English to explore responsibly. Keep learning, keep exploring, and keep making a positive difference with your travels.
From Emily and me, Brian, thank you for joining us on the English podcast for listening and speaking. We'll see you next time.